Split fiction, yes.
Playing split fiction makes you feel like you're riding a roller coaster called what the fuck? One minute you're a pig that can fly by farting, the next you're taking a leisurely stroll through a beautiful fortress city, then boom, ogre!
We've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
And you're running for your life through a horde of them. Split Fiction is an adventure game, platforming game, shooter game, puzzle game, adventure game that was developed by the company that has ruined many a relationship, Hazelight Studios, the maker of It Takes Two. The game is a tale of two people coming together to become BFFs through one of the most powerful bonding tools of all, trauma, with a side order of PTSD. Both main characters want to get their book published, so upon receiving an invitation to get their book published, they go to some gigantic corporate building that totally doesn't belong to some big evil villainous rich guy. Then the two main characters, Zoe and Mio, meet each other on the elevator. One of them is a bubbly ray of sunshine, and the other is closed off and might as well have a cartoon rain cloud above her head permanently, so that makes for a good dynamic. You get to where you're going and uh-oh, turns out the totally not a rich villainous bad guy is in fact totally a rich villainous bad guy, and you're not here for a publishing deal at all. He's got a big ol' extract stories from your brain machine, and Mio gets cold feet. Welp, evil villainous rich bad guy isn't gonna let that slide, so he tries throwing her ass in the machine whether she likes it or not. But oops, she slips and winds up in the same fetus-like orb thing as Zoe, and now the two of them, controlled by you and whoever you're playing with, must traverse the minds of Zoe and Mio, and you get to live out the most ridiculous stories that they've ever thought of, usually switching between the sci-fi and fantasy styles of each writer, or slightly more strange stories where you grill yourself as a hot dog. The game is absolutely trying to target people who like a good story. The whole game is literally stories within a story within more stories, and then at one point you're even in two stories at once. You'll understand when you get there. And the characters be yapping to each other all the time for even more story. You can play Split Fiction on a controller or mouse and keyboard. Here's the platforms you can play on. There's full cross-platform play among all of them. And lastly, here's the menu settings for those who enjoy it so much. Split Fiction is a AAA game in 2025, so it does indeed have good graphics. Just look at this dying sun with a Dyson sphere around it. Can you find anything negative to say about the graphics? Nope, didn't think so. Moving on. Oh, but you gon' pay for them graphics though, baby! You're gonna need that RTX 3070 if you wanna run it on 1440p, which I do not have, so you guys have to suffer with my caveman technology. And 85 gigs is pretty big too. The game has pretty linear progression where you go to a level which is based on a story in the main character's minds. Follow a set path, do some puzzles, platforming, watch some cutscenes, sometimes fight dudes and bosses that move on to the next level. There's side stories for you to discover in between, which can range from the absurd, where you take control of a tooth in some kind of diabetic fever dream, then suddenly a robot dentist is sadistically drilling holes through you. Then there's the more dangerous, badass, violent ones, where you're, for example, in a game show in which a talking screen is the host and puts you through a lethal and sadistic game of hot potato, where the potato is a bomb. And you can replay any of these levels at any time with the chapter select screen. Now the mechanics. There's a lot of them. You have the basic platformer mechanics, such as sprint, jump, double jump, dash, double dash, etc. However, the twist is that each level gives you a new tool to work with, so the gameplay feels fresh throughout the entire game. In one level, you get a sword to make minced meat out of the bad guys. Then in another level, you get pulse guns, or in this level, you're driving motorcycles that shoot rockets out of them. In this level, you become the mothers of dragons, like your Daenerys Targaryen. You literally get dragon eggs, hatch them, and then use them as a tool in different ways as you magically age them. While they're babies, one of them lets you glide through the air to jump further. Then when they mature, one of them can shoot vile green acidic bile. Having all these different tools changes the types of puzzles you're going to be doing throughout the game, and it's just a really good style of gameplay that prevents stagnation, and they executed it well. Oh, and basically every single level, both characters have a different set of tools or weapons with different mechanics, so if you wanted to play it twice, it would be a fresh experience. It's almost like every level is damn near a different game in terms of environment, subplots, and mechanics. Like, look at this, you're literally fighting a boss in a pinball style game where one player controls the ball and the other controls the flippers. There's just so much variety variety. Speaking of bosses, there's also a good amount of enemy variety. You got your generic cannon fodder bad guys that are quickly dispatched with a couple hits from whatever weapon you have, or you can throw them into the gates of oblivion with an energy whip. Sometimes flying cars that shoot will roll up on you and you gotta whip barrels at them till they explode. There's even some enemies with unique mechanics, like having an energy shield that is red, so the red player needs to shoot them with their secondary fire first so you can deal damage to it. And there's something like 19 unique bosses. For example, you got the Metal Gear boss fight. Similar to the Metal Gear Rex boss fight in Metal Gear Solid 1, you have to dodge the unrelenting onslaught of payload of a robotic dinosaur-looking thing while attacking weak points to destroy it, except it does not crush any cyber ninjas. Rest in peace, Gray Fox. Split Fiction is a strictly two-player co-op game. You cannot play it alone at all, so if you don't have any friends or significant other, you will be left out in the cold, just like in real life. And there's no function for randoms to play together that I found. There's no cosmetics or microtransactions or bundles or packs or any of that bullshit, so that's cool. The game ran fine above 80 FPS most of the time, no bugs or anything like that, but I did get stuck a few times in weird places that I had to restart a checkpoint for. But that's likely a me problem. In literally every game, I'm always the first person to glitch out of the map or get stuck in weird places because I do weird shit the developers don't think about. Overall, Split Fiction is just a good-ass game. If you're not really big into competitive multiplayer games or you just want a chill game to sit on the couch and play with your girlfriend or whoever that you both enjoy, this game is perfect. It's challenging enough to keep you engaged, but not hard enough that some parts take someone with less experience 100 tries and you're left sitting there for 20 minutes. The constant switching of mechanics keeps the gameplay fresh, there's badass cinematics, there's a decent story to follow. I just can't find anything bad to say about it, really. On our patented 0 to 1 scale, we give this game a 0.96 out of 1. It does what it's trying to do very well, and I don't really have anything to criticize about it. The only thing I wish they did differently was add some sort of collectible that give you reason to explore the map. Maybe they could give you some kind of power-up or something, or you could just have them for the sake of collecting them. If you enjoyed this no-bullshit review of Split Fiction, please clap the cheeks of that like button. Make the fiction of our dreams become reality and subscribe to the channel. And comment what color socks you're currently wearing. Thank you, good night, and remember the age-old saying, he who eats ass fears gas.